What's up, YouTube? It's MNQ Scalper Mom coming at you with another video recap. Now this is, I think, the fourth time me trying to get this video out to you. The devil is busy today. Yes, he is. He is trying for me not to be great. However, I'm trying my best to do better. I'm on a mission and I want to get this recap out to you guys. So starting with the right before the New York opening session, we did have an impulse move up above our moving averages, which were clumped together, the 9 EMA, the 20 SMA, as well as the 100 SMA. And we also had confluence of the prior day's high. So we had a nice pullback of the 20 moving average down into, a nice pullback into the 20 moving average. So that was my signal bar. As you see, it's delineated with the green arrow there. We had a nice pullback into that. So the next bar immediately shot up. I did not get in on the next bar right above or one tick above the signal bar. However, I did get in on the third bar right at the open. It was a market entry, so I probably couldn't get that tight limit order entry one tick above anyway. And we shot right up. We shot right up to 1-to-1, then 2-to-1 risk reward. Unfortunately, I was spooked. I think I was very nervous, insecure about trading so close to the open and right there at the open. So I basically got out of the trade for lower than the price that I got into the trade. I got out on that red bar, which did somewhat come back down below my entry. So I ended up with a loss on that first trade just because I fumbled it. No other reason, but I fumbled it. Yes, there was a loss of about $23.08. All right, so price continued to go up past pre-market high. So that was a nice impulse move way up. And we had another pullback, this time into the 9 EMA. Now this pullback was not as deep as I would have liked it to be, and the signal bar was quite large. So that definitely wasn't ideal, wasn't an A+ setup as far as I'm concerned. Sometimes the price does shoot up quite a bit from a setup like that, in which it did. It did shoot up to my first target, 1-to-1 risk. However, I ended up fumbling this trade as well, and I pretty much got out for break even on my first micro contract, and I did that on the doji. And then on that next bar, I got out again at about break even on my second micro contract. I did not wait around for price to go and hit my 1-to-1 target, unfortunately. Now, after the 1-to-1 target should have been hit, then I would have then needed to bring my stop to break even, and that's where I would have been taken out on that second micro contract. So again, I don't know, I just completely fumbled the ball on both of these trades. I don't know if I was nervous because it was during the open, right at the New York Open. Another issue, I think, it's that I didn't have the risk reward tool set up properly. I should have had it set up to go directly to the 1-to-1 target. Instead, I had it set up to go to the 2-to-1 target. And when that happens, price is moving really fast, and I think that does discombobulate me. So that's something that I should have fixed for today. I did note that in my daily report card yesterday. However, I neglected to fix it for today, and I will definitely have that prepared properly for tomorrow, because I do think that had something to do with the inferior performance for today. All right, let's look at the Tradezella. Of course, I want to encourage everybody to use your Tradezella to record your data, look at what you're doing right, look at what you're doing wrong, and keep track of what trades are making you the most profit. Okay, so here was the first trade. I have the playbook already recorded there, and I also annotated the Tradezella chart just to give more detail about exactly what happened in these two trades. So when I come back and look at these trades, I'll know that these really should have been somewhat winning trades. However, I fumbled the trade, and how was I feeling? I was nervous at the New York Open. So those things are important. Sometimes it's important to annotate how you feel, and that's just as important as what mistakes you made or the actual setup. More of those technical issues. You also want to document some of those emotional issues as well. So, see what we have coming up here. Oh yes, I also added the detail here about the confluence, since we did have the confluence of the 100 SMA as well as the prior day high for that first trade. I think noting something like that and me seeing something like that in the future will give me more conviction and more confidence in executing a trade that close to the open. So that section in here where I can note those confluences and tag those confluences so they can be documented in my stats as well. I mistakenly put it under mistakes at first, but Tradezella is very simple, very easy to make edits once I realize it. I'm not sure at what point I realize it, but at some point I do realize it, and I go back and change it to go under the heading of confluence. I don't think it's until after I deal with this second trade. So I did annotate that the R1 target should have been hit, but I fumbled the trade and got out around break even. R2 would not have been hit. I also noted that it was not a deep pullback, and there was a large signal bar. So those are just me noting details indicating that it wasn't, in my opinion, an A+ setup. So here I am correcting the confluence tags in Tradezella. This as well, late entry and premature exit. That's what it should be. I'll have to correct that. Premature exit and late entry is what it should be. And I can easily go back and correct that. All right, looking at my goals, I only traded one account, only traded 2 micros, followed my entry criteria. However, I fumbled the exit criteria, so I put an X there. I followed my rules. If the first trade wins, I stop at 1 trade. The first trade didn't win, so I was fine to take 2 trades, which is allowable each day. So unfortunately, I didn't improve on anything today. I was supposed to properly prepare that risk reward tool so that it would match up with my first target. I need to make sure I do this going forward. And I think I just come over here and show, like, now both of those are set to 1 to 2, and I have marked with the orange line where the 1 to 1 would be, because when I first start out, I need the 1-to-1 to be there so I know exactly where to put my target from my chart trader. Since I trade on the chart, I can drag the stop loss, I can drag the targets. So I need to know where to put those, and this tool is fixated based on you telling it if you want the ratio to be 1 or 2. Alright, well, it looks like I have everything wrapped up in a bow, ready to send to my trading coach. I have my pictures attached, and that's pretty much it. So thank you all so much for joining me today for this recap. I hope it was helpful to some of you. I hope I'm encouraging you to utilize your Tradezella or whatever journaling software or notepad or method that you have to keep up with your statistics, to keep up with your mindset and your rules, whether or not you're following your rules. So if you did find value, please like the video. Please give it a subscribe for the channel. And also, if you'd like to support the channel, please feel free to use my Apex code AAA. Alright, well, I will catch you on the next video. Trade well and trade safely.